Howdy, Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix here. Yes, it's been a while, and I am sorry about that. I'm just gonna say life is hard. I've been busy. That's all I can say. I do plan on making more edited video essays. Uh, Sorry for the glitch there. I meant to say I do like making videos, as said, and I really do plan on getting back to making like big edited video essays and reviews. But as said, I've noticed I've not made a video in a while, so I figured I'd do this. Today we're not doing another tier list. Is it a yearly tier list or is it a half year tier list? I seem to do these every couple of months, so I can't remember when the last one I made was, but we're doing another one. Today we're doing childhood cartoons I grew up with, or nostalgic cartoons I grew up with. So this list is gonna be heavily biased and whatnot. A lot of these cartoons are gonna be judged solely on my enjoyment of them. But I'll give reasons for why I like them or not. So basically, as said, these are cartoons I grew up with as a kid. Something I'm gonna let you guys know is that I'm a very young guy. I know I don't try. I know I try not to sound like it or look like it in my videos, but I was born way later than most of you. Most of YouTube seems to be covered by people who were born in the 90s. I was born in 2000s. So I grew up with cartoons from the 2010s, with the occasional odd one from like the late 90s. So I grew up with a lot of these new cartoons. So maybe, for the general audience out there, to be a big surprise to you. At the very least, it might be interesting to hear what I think of these cartoons, especially as like a, again, new generation kid or whatever, as part of Gen Z. So here we have the tiers, the different tiers for where I'm going to place these cartoons. Is the test of time. Basically, these are cartoons that stood the test of time. Like, it's not nostalgia blinding me. I genuinely think these are great. One of the best cartoons ever. Goated, it's a great cartoon, no problem with it. Good is it's all right, it's good, no problem with it. It's definitely above average. Nostalgia carries this choice. This is where I said this list is very much nostalgia based. It's very heavy on a nostalgia. So if I like say there's a showdown here, there probably is. There probably is a showdown here that's like very bad or like objectively bad, or even I can register its flaws. Yet, like I still cannot bring myself to hate on it, mostly because I watched it as a kid and it definitely carried a big chunk of my childhood. Like there's just a part of me that's like, I can't hate this. I really cannot bring myself to hate this. It's gonna go in the nostalgia choice. Like I'll be like, yeah, it's not good, but kid me loved it, so maybe he was onto something. Good then, less now. So again, this is kind of a nostalgia choice. It was good back then. I seem to like it back then. General audiences seem to like it back then, but it's not good now. I've noticed a lot of its flaws. Horrible then, horrible now. It's a bad show. I really did not care for the show when I was young, when it first came out, and I don't like it now. Looking back on it, or when I give it a rewatch, I knew there was a reason I didn't like it, and that reason still persists on even when I got older and when I've matured a bit more. So I didn't like the cartoon then, I didn't like it now, and I probably will never like it. And of course, we have the final option: never seen slash don't remember. Because let's face it, I have not seen every cartoon. I know I put up this facade. I have not watched every single show out there, and I know some of the shows I haven't seen are probably gonna shock you. But yeah, I have not seen every single cartoon out there, so this is where it's gonna go. Maybe I'll see them one day. Maybe I do plan to see them. Maybe I would. Who knows? Or maybe I just don't have the time to do so. But yeah, so these are tiers, and without further ado, let's get into it. So first up, we have Avengers Assemble. That was from Disney XD. Yeah, I really liked Avengers Assemble growing up. I want to say it like. I want to say this was my actual first introduction into the Avengers. Like, this is what shot me into becoming a somewhat Marvel. I remember like loving this cartoon when it first came out, adoring it, seeing it. I especially loved the first two seasons. Those first two seasons were some pretty good Marvel content out there. However, as the show went on, it's like it just became less and less. I do remember I dropped out at a certain point, and when I came back to watch the show, I just did not like it at all when I came back to finish it. And the last season apparently was like an entire Black Panther season. Like the entirety of the last season was just set in Wakanda, and there was only like one episode that was like for the regular Avengers. There was also a point in time where like the animation style changed and the designs of the characters changed. I hate that so much. Like the show began obviously to mirror the MCU. Like this show was very much copying what the MCU was doing one for one, just in an animated show for kids. And there was a certain point where they're like, okay, screw it, let's just give them new designs. So like there was a certain point to the show where like the art style completely changed and the designs completely changed. and I hated that. I don't like the new designs. I don't like the new art style. The new art style sucks, and they applied that same art style to Spider-Man 2017, which is also on this list. So I'll talk about it when I get there. But I hate it solely for the fact that there's no shading. Like the first couple seasons had shading, and it made everything look, physical, like it was there. These later seasons, it looks so cheap. Everything looks like it was drawn on a piece of paper by a kid. It's so bad. So yeah, like and again, like the last season just kind of like completely departs from the show. It's like the entire season is set in Wakanda. It kind of makes me think that they wanted to do a Black Panther show, but they didn't like have enough. I don't know if they didn't have enough material for it, or if Disney wasn't allowing them to. So they just made the last season Black Panther related. I don't know what the excuse was, but at that point in time, just make a Black Panther show. It was not worth it. So yeah, Avengers Assemble. I think this is the perfect example of a show that was good then. I enjoyed it as a kid. I really did love like all the wacky stuff these guys went on. I like how it mirrored the MCU somewhat, but there was and like they even fought Thanos before the MCU did Thanos. Like before Infinity War, these guys already fought Thanos in the Avengers Assemble show. It was doing a lot of stuff before the MCU did as well. Like as much as it was copying the MCU, it also kind of like jumped the gun in some areas. Yeah, I think it was good at first, but then it just kind of lost steam over time. The back half of the show really, really drags. I'm not gonna lie. Then we have Guardians of the Galaxy cartoon. I have not seen this one actually. I have not seen Guardians of the Galaxy. Hulk and the Agents of Smash. I did see a couple episodes of this when it was airing as a kid. So but I don't remember it. I don't remember the plot at all. All I remember is that Hulk in this show was like very smart, which was very much whiplash for kid me, because I remember in Avengers Simple, he was like the big dumb guy. But in Agents of Smash, he was so smart and like the leader of the team, and I'm like, this is not the same character, is it? But it is, because apparently it's a shared universe. So I just have to assume Agents of Smash takes place after Avengers Assemble, when Hulk has gotten more control of his Hulk form. I guess it was very weird. It was a very weird show. But it did introduce me to like the other versions of Hulk, like She-Hulk, Scar, Red Hulk, A-Bomb. I really like all of them. So they're cool. But yeah, I barely remember the show. Barely remember it. Spider-Man 2017. I hate this show. I've said this before, like um in the wild multiple times, but I don't think I've ever voiced it on the channel as much. I really hate Spider-Man 2017. I don't think it's just like a bad Spider-Man show. I genuinely think it's one of the worst cartoons I've ever seen. First of all, the animation, it is so bad. It is so bad and looks so cheap. It is so cheap looking. And again, that's because of the art style they went for. There's like no shading whatsoever. Everything looks like it, like the world doesn't look like it touches with the characters. Things look like they're sliding off each other, even though they aren't. And like there's this one episode even where like Peter is fighting Slide, and Slide even like throws this thing on Peter, causing him to slide. That's what the show looks like to me most of the time. Like Peter sliding, that didn't jar me like any like that didn't tell me, oh, Peter's in trouble, whatever. That's just what the show looks like to me. And that episode kind of confirmed, yeah, things don't look like they fit. And it really just showed how everything doesn't fit. It also sucked. It's also just horrendous how bad the writing is. For one, there was like in season one, we had like a 6-part for the season started, like a 6-part origin story for Peter. Then afterward, we had which I don't know why they had to make it 6 parts. Then we had the actual story Spider-Man. His first villain is the Vulture, who I hate that suit design so much. Like the helmet is cool. Like his helmet kind of looks like this over his face. It's like really cool. But I hate the suit design so much. It's like, how is that a Vulture suit? And then Vulture is screaming at Peter with like his sonic scream, and Peter like webs his ears and he's like, "That's a good voice for screaming." The puns in this show, the jokes are so bad. Like there's one time where Peter fights against Absorption Man, and he's like, gotta get some H2. Oh, I'm like, no, no, no. The writing did get slightly better in season 2 when they adapted a couple more arcs from the comics. Well, at least I would say actually towards the end of season 1 is where things started picking up a bit. Like there was a Spider Island arc. I genuinely liked the Spider Island arc, though it went on too long. The Spider Island arc was like 4 episodes, 2 of which weren't even part of the arc. Like one episode was a crossover with Black Widow, and then another episode was a I can't remember what it was about, but I just know it had like nothing to do with the overall story. They could have made that arc a 2-parter and nothing would have changed. But I did like the Spider Island arc. I liked the Hobgoblin arc with the Hobgoblin and the Sinister Six. I was all right for what it was. It was a fine length. And then season 2 did the Superior arc. That one went on a bit too long. I liked the Goblin King arc for a bit up until the reveal where we were supposed to find out who is the Goblin King. Is it Norman? Vulture. Vulture's the Goblin King for some reason, despite being the Vulture. And you know, when I saw that arc, I'm like, okay, fine. They don't want to bring Norman back to life. Respect. They're keeping characters dead. Cool. I like that. Nope. They bring Norman back in the next season. In the immediate next season, they bring Norman back as this like symbiote goblin thing. I'm like, then what was the point? Just make him the Goblin King. What was the point? Did not like the show at all. Not to mention, it kind of gets canceled. Like the show ends with Peter and his other Spidey friends. Oh, this is also like where his other Spidey friends came into the picture, like Miles Morales was introduced in. We got actually had Spider friends to hang out with. That was, I guess, a cool concept. But they defeat Venom at the end, and then they're like, we have a new place to learn at because the old school kicked us out, like we graduated or whatever. And then they just never go back there again. The show was canceled. I really thought it had a finale, but Disney just said, nah, we're done with this. I do not like Spider-Man 2017. I hated it back then, revisited years later to see how it ended. I hated that. I do not like Spider-Man 2017. Hands down, the worst Spider-Man, one of the worst cartoons, period. There's very little for me to enjoy. First, heard me gush about this show before. I really love Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I do think a lot of what the MCU is now copied from Earth's Mightiest Heroes. And then we also have, and I just want to say one thing. There is, in season 2 of this show, we have the Secret Invasion arc where the squirrels are slowly invading Earth. This show did it better. This show did the Secret Invasion arc right. I don't know what Marvel gave us with the newest like Disney Plus show, Secret Invasion. Everyone agrees, like whether or not you believe the MCU should have ended at Endgame and they should have stopped making movies, even though my guy, this is Hollywood, they're never gonna stop making movies, or if you still like the MCU post Endgame, I think everyone collectively agreed together that Secret Invasion sucked. Secret Invasion was a horrible show, horrible ending, did not make sense. I could rant so much about how Secret Invasion lost the plot so early, but we're not doing that. All I'm gonna say is Secret Invasion did the Secret Invasion adaptation of the comics badly. Earth's Mightiest Heroes did it well. And you guys know one of my favorite superhero shows out there, one of my favorite shows of all time, Secret Invasion stands the test of time. That is the definition of a goated, not even just a goated show. It's just really good. I really do like Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I even like how you heard me mention this. I've been around for my channel for a while. You heard me mention in my canceled cartoons video that they did have an ending for this show planned, and it was gonna like come in like season 3 or 4, whatever. But then Disney decided to cancel the show in favor for Avengers Assemble, and so the creator too early. Like they ended the show with the Secret Invasion arc and the King stuff and whatnot. Then they had to bring their finale, the finale that they had planned for like future seasons, and put it at the tail end of the show. Like the Galactus was like the main villain in this finale, and they were obviously gonna build up to him, but because they knew they weren't gonna get any more seasons, they just decided to plunk it in this show. So like looking at it, you're gonna see it's very disconnected from the other stories, and you'd be like, why? This sucks. I don't like it. But looking back on it, the fact that they were able to end the series how they wanted to on their own terms, and the fact that they had already planned the finale out and how it was going to look like, I like it. It's respect, and I definitely think it was a godsend having that finale. Yeah, you also got 2 Spider-Man episodes here, and Wolverine showed up. I'm pretty sure like a couple of the X-Men showed up. This was an honest to god true Marvel show. I think it was the closest we got to like having the entire universe up in here. Like we had Galactus. I just can't remember if we had the Fantastic Four. I know the Avengers were here. Spider-Man was here. Black Panther. Um, Wolverine was here. I do remember that. So I'm struggling to remember like the other X-Men were there. But good Marvel show, good superhero show. Did the concept well. Did a bunch of the concepts the MCU was going for well. The only thing it didn't do was the multiverse concept, which I don't know if they were ever gonna do that, but we'll see. So yeah. Oh, by the way, I know a lot of people also don't like Avengers Assemble because Disney canceled Earth's Mightiest Heroes in exchange for Assembled. I don't mind it. I said, mostly because I watched Assembled before Earth's Mightiest Heroes. So to me, that whiplash, that stinging of it being canceled didn't hit as hard. A show that did hit as hard when it was canceled is Ultimate Spider-Man. Okay, granted, I did watch Ultimate Spider-Man before Spectacular Spider-Man, and Spectacular Spider-Man, I'm pretty sure isn't on this list because this list covers only 2010s cartoons. If you want me to do another list where I cover like late 90s, early 2000s cartoons, I could do that, part 2, because that's it. Not every cartoon is on this list, guys. Just saying, not every single cartoon ever made it on this list. So, there's room for part 2 if y'all are into that. If this video gets views, please give me views. Please give me views. Anyway, Ultimate Spider-Man. It now I'm hearing that like Spectacular got cancelled in order for like Ultimate to do its thing. It does sting a bit. because I know like a lot of people really hate Ultimate Spider-Man. They really hate it simply on the basis because it's the show that killed Spectacular. I don't hate it as much. I definitely think Ultimate is overhated. Like it has a lot of flaws, yes, but I do think it's very much overhated in my opinion. It's how should I say? For one, it didn't come out immediately after Spectacular ended. Spectacular ended in like 2010, I think, and this one came out in 2012. If anything, this show coincided with the release of Amazing Spider-Man's release, so it's pretty fire. I also remember when I watched the premiere, I watched it with a bunch of my friends from school. Like we all gathered around the TV to like watch it. So it's definitely a memorable show, but I do agree it started off very rough. Like we have Spider-Man being part of a team. He's not being sponsored by the government, which it's not very Spider-Man like rich Spider-Man. I don't mind pampered Spider-Man. I've said it many times before, but MCU Peter, MCU Spidey is my favorite version of Spider-Man. And one of the reasons that's so is because he's kind of pampered in that show. He's like allowed to, do things, be a teen and whatnot. And like all his suits are handed to him. Sorry. Basically, like MCU Spidey does not have to struggle as much as regular Spidey, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with having different versions of Spider-Man. I guess I was just so tired of seeing poor Spider-Man over and over and over that having a pampered Spidey was cool. However, this Spidey isn't really pampered. He's just there. That and people really hate him. They find him annoying with his quippy fourth wall breaks, which yeah, I can see is kind of annoying at a certain point. Like he's not Deadpool, like you'd expect Deadpool to do the amount of fourth wall breaking he does it all the time. If it was like once or twice in an episode, that's fine. But the fact that he does it like numerous times in an episode, I can understand why people get mad at that. I did like seasons though. Especially like when he started doing the multiverse things, Spider-Verse. By the way, for those who don't know, Ultimate Spider-Man did Spider-Verse before the movies did. So I mean, I know the comics exist and whatnot, but like he did the multiverse thing. We met Miles Morales. This was Miles Morales' first appearance on screen. Actually, he came from Ultimate Spider-Man. It was pretty cool. We also got to see Spider-Gwen, actually Ghost Spider. This was also her first appearance. Spider-Ham. We even got an episode where Spider-Man turned into a pig, which was another reference to Spider-Ham. Yeah, it was a lot of stuff I liked from this. Oh, there was also like, oh gosh, I'm struggling to remember, but there was this arc. I can't remember if it was like in season 3 or something, where we have the Collector and the Grandmaster, who are basically collecting heroes from all over the world to fight in this huge arena. I think it's sort of like Battle World, kind of like Secret Wars, but not really. And then Spidey has to like fight all these heroes and villains in every challenge that the Collector and the Grandmaster put him in. It was really cool. Aunt May finally found out his identity in this arc. We got to have cool matchups with heroes and villains. It was kind of like two kids playing with their action figures, except now it was like in the show itself, and we got to see how different heroes and villains compare against each other when fighting. It's also what I would say is the closest to a Marvel show, kind of like Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, because we got a lot of Marvel characters here. I remember there was Wolverine, we got Deadpool, there was a lot of like, we got the Inhumans, we got a lot of extra cast like White Tiger, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Nova, like a lot of obscure Marvel characters showed up in the show. I said no Fantastic Four or X-Men, but we got a lot. Like this show was stacked with characters, even like Ultimate Spider-Man was the Marvel show for a time. So yeah. So there's I also like some of how the villains were introduced. Like I like how as a paralyzed person, which is why he needed the tentacles to work. Like his arms and legs weren't working, so he needed the tentacles to get him around. And then through nanotech science BS, he became old and decrepit. I thought he was gonna die, and then the series actually ended with him getting his comic accurate suit. Like I don't know what happened. I don't know if he got like nanotech, potion of youth, whatever. But like the series ended with him getting his comic accurate look, like the yellow and green spandex. I thought that was really cool. I fell in love with that design. There's also Ben Riley in this series, Scarlet Spider, with he had like weird knives coming out of his fists. It was crazy. But he didn't have his comic suit. He had like the regular Scarlet Spider suit, like the black with the red spider insignia on it. But he didn't have the red and blue jacket me. Like he did have the red suit with the blue jacket. That's annoying. That's if for those who don't know, that's my favorite Spidey suit, the red and blue jacket. He didn't have that, so it was very sad. But as you can tell, I do have a lot of fond memories with Ultimate Spider-Man. I said acknowledge its flaws. It definitely has a lot of flaws. The comedy falls flat on its face a lot of the time. And there's some filler episodes which just don't make sense. And don't even get me started on how they use like J. Jonah Jameson. He was always on a screen trash talking Spider-Man. Like I swear, even the show acknowledged he doesn't have legs. You know, he's always a face on a screen. He gets like little to no characterization. I mean, it's better than 2017 Spidey, who does have a JJJ, but sounds nothing close to J.K. Simmons. At the very least, for Ultimate Spider-Man, they got someone who sounds close to J.K. Simmons, but it just doesn't hit the same when he doesn't even interact with Peter. Peter never once goes to a Daily Bugle. So yeah, it's frustrating. It very much is. Like we had an episode where Spidey had to go rescue Jameson's son, but like he doesn't even meet Jameson himself. So it's like, what's the point? So yeah. So as I said, I know the show has a lot of flaws. It's very much hated by the community, but I can't help it. I enjoy a lot of Ultimate Spider-Man, or at the very least, a lot of what it did for me as a kid. So I think into I would say it falls either into the good section for me. I'm very nostalgic for the show. It gets good to like I have to justify why I like it. So yeah. We have this Batman series, the CG Batman series. I've never actually heard of this. Like this is the first time I'm seeing it. Can't remember when it came out. I can't give you any info on it. I have not watched it. So yeah. Woohoo. Then we have Big Hero 6, the series. I've seen the movie, did not bother watching the show. Don't think I'm ever gonna watch the show. So yeah. Then there's a Green Lantern series. I do remember watching a couple episodes of this as a kid. Never saw it, like never got invested, never followed it through. The Harley Quinn show. I love Suicide Squad and I love Harley Quinn's character, but I just could not be bothered watching the show. I do like how they are giving the Batman villains a lot of personality, like Harley, Poison Ivy, King Shark, all that stuff. But I don't know why the show just does not interest me from what I've seen. But I do like how it's not focused on Harley Quinn. It's focused on like the entire DC universe as a whole. Like I know they bring in like the Justice League and Batman and whatnot. Um, but it definitely looks like one of those adult shows that just makes, like the raunchy jokes for the sake of it. I don't know if it makes fun of the DC universe instead. Like I don't know if they make fun of the heroes saying, "Oh, heroes suck," and like they always show the heroes being incompetent. I don't know, but if that's the case, I probably wouldn't like it if I did watch it. Justice League Action, I also have not seen this one, so can't help you. Sorry. Um, Max Steel. I've never heard of this show. Haven't seen it. Cannot help you. Miraculous Ladybug. For those of you who do remember, last year I did make a video of like top 10 shows or whatever I would never watch a review. Miraculous Ladybug was on that list. It has a cool concept, and I do think the world building from the show has been really good. However, I've just been turned off by it. I don't know why. I think it's mostly because I just never had a chance to watch it, or like never got around to watching it. And by the time I did start getting interest for it, people were raking on the show. I remember like the season sucks. The writers don't know how to write the show anymore. It's complete garbage, poo poo, all that fun stuff. And what is this on my screen? Oh, okay. It's garbage. It's poo poo. The writers don't know how to do it. The fanfics are better. But this year, people love the movie. They're like, "Oh, it's so much better than the show. I hope they make the show based off the movie. How is the show still going on?" Basically, the show is in a mess right now. The fans of the show are kind of going a bit crazy. They're being a bit much, I will say, and I think it's just best if I stay a safe distance from this show for the time being. It also doesn't seem like I'll enjoy it too much based on what I've been told by by the a safe distance from the show. If it's good, let me know. Like, let me know if you like it. Supermansion, never heard of this, haven't seen it, cannot help you. Teen Titans Go. This show is overhated. I do think this is one of the most overhated shows ever made. There's no denying it had a very negative impact on the cartoon industries as a whole. Like a lot of shows that came out post Teen Titans Go definitely carried a Teen Titans Go energy, if you know what I'm saying. Like the cheaper animation, the more focusing more on comedy and making fun of like the nostalgia blind fans of the old legacy shows. Like we've seen this happen a lot, like Powerpuff Girls 2016. Rise of the TMNT was getting flagged on because it did the same. It looked like it had that Teen Titans Go energy. Like a lot of shows that were making nostalgia, that was like making fun of fans' nostalgia, kind of birthed from Teen Titans Go. So I'm not denying the fact that Teen Titans Go has a negative energy around it, but like as a show on its own, it's fine. I hate to admit it, but this is the show that introduced me to Teen Titans. I did see this before I watched Teen Titans 2003, so this was my definition of the characters. One thing I will say though is that watching this show as a kid, I was always telling myself, I wish they would actually go on adventures. I wish they would actually fight a villain. I wish we would have some cool action. This was before I knew about the 2003 series. So every time I was like, I wish we had more depth with these characters. I wish there was more fighting with them. Turns out there was a series that had all the things I was looking for. I just didn't know it existed. And then lo and behold, later on in life, I found out about the 2003 show. I watch it. I absolutely fell in love with the 2003 show. The 2003 Teen Titans is the definitive version of the Titans to me, and it's exactly what I was looking for and what I wanted from the Titans. Teen Titans Go just works as a comedy cartoon. It's not supposed to be taken seriously as a superhero show. There's like they always make fun of the action and the adventures when they go out. They even have an literal episode where it's like it's time to get serious, making fun of the people who did want to see Titans go serious. So yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it has a lot of flaws. Its comedy is not for everyone. I can definitely see that. Even as a kid, I was like, this comedy isn't for me. It's a bit too loud and obnoxious at times. Some of the jokes kind of gross. You know, there's some episodes that just are basically the writer's poorly disguised fetish. Let's not lie here. Like I think let's not lie. Teacher just had a lot of weird fetish episodes. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna bring them up. So yeah, perfect show by any means. I did stick with the shows for as long as I could up until like season 5 or 6, and then after that I just got tired. The show went on for like way too long. I just couldn't be bothered to keep up with it. I do remember the movie came out. I liked the movie. I really did like the movie. I even made a review on it. It was like the most popular video on my channel for a while. I stuck with the show afterward, especially like in some episodes are relating to the movie. And then we got to season 6. The show was not ending. And what annoyed me actually with Teen Titans Go is I got to season 6 and I'm like, okay, why are you on your 6th season? The original Teen Titans only made it to 5 seasons and then it was canceled. We didn't get a 6th one. So, you know, I don't know why, but like logic would dictate that you guys would get to your 5th or 6th season and you would end. But it hasn't ended and it's refusing to end. And that annoys me. Like, how can Teen Titans Go still be a thing and then you don't continue the original Teen Titans? What the hell? So yeah, so like this one, it passed its 6th season. I got tired at that point. I'm like, all right, you're gonna keep going till the end of time. I don't freaking care. If it's over, someone let me know. I'll probably look at the finale or something. But as it stands, it's whatever. So where would I put Teen Titans? I can't say it's a good show. I really don't want to say it's a good or goated show because it really isn't. It's mindless fluff. I think it's mostly just going to be nostalgia carries this choice. I was introduced to it. It was my first introduction to the Titans. And you know, without this show, I wouldn't have watched the 2003 Titans. I'm not gonna lie. So I'll give credit where credit's due. And I do think it was overhated, but I kind of understand where a lot of the hate came from, especially considering this show came out exactly 10 years after the original one aired. Like the original show came out in like 2003, this show came out in 2013. So, you know, rub salt in that wound, why don't you? But it is funny. It is funny. It's just a lot of its comedy, or I guess some of the comedy it tries to employ, especially like when it comes to meta comedy, isn't for everyone. The meta comedy I'm fine with because I understand how most of the writing industry works. But for a lot of people, these jokes will just like fly over their head. I very much understand if someone does not like Teen Titans Go or they're not a huge fan of its comedy. And for being a superhero comedy, if you don't even succeed at a comedy, you're not working there. So I think nostalgia carries this choice for me. I think it was a good show back then. I still think it's good now. I just haven't stuck with it till the end because it was getting a bit obnoxious. Then we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2012. You guys know I love the 2012 series. There is so much to love from this series. I do like how they were able to make it 3D, you know, CG animation and anime. Esque. It's kind of like they took the energy of Teen Titans 2003 with the animation of like Star Wars Rebels, a modern CG cartoon, and mixed them together. And I think that energy like really blended well. The fight scenes are really cool. Shredder in this show was a menace. I'm pretty sure this is like still one of my favorite versions of Shredder, where he's just ruthless in everything he does. Splinter in this show was the goat, obviously. I can't say I love the dynamic between the turtles. I do think like later versions were able to get the dynamic between, you know, the brotherly dynamic between the turtles more right. But I love the plot lines in this show, like the pacing and the arcs that the characters go through. It's so good. It's all so good. I love how the each season structures itself into like, you know, you have the stories that guys go on, then you have the mid-season event, and then you have the finale, which is like part one, part two. There's like so much stuff to love. I really do love like season 3 and 4 a lot. They are really good. I even like how season 2 ends on a cliffhanger. So as season 3 has to like carry on that nonsense and like develop the story from there. It's really good stuff. I do think TMNT 2012 is probably the best version of the Turtles. It's the best TV version of the Turtles. I will say. I don't know if it's the best overall. I still think there's a bit of competition there. I know that 90s fans are gonna come after me for saying it's the best version, but I haven't seen the 90s shows, so it's the best version of the Turtles I've seen. I just really like it a lot. Season 4 with the space arc, you know, season 5 is a bit weird because the show technically ends at season 4, and season 5 is just Tales of the TMNT. It's like just mini stories here and there. Season 5 is very much a weird season. Like if you were to ask me personally, I would say if you're once you finish season 4, you're done with the show. You don't need to watch more. But if you really want to, season 5 is harmless enough. I mean, there's some episodes like I know there's a space episode, there's a time travel episode. We have a Mad Max episode. I really like the Mad Max one. I would actually show people the Mad Max episode. But that's about it. I wouldn't say season 5 is worth it, but the flow from season 1 to 4 is really good, and also like how they improve. Like the ante is upped. The right Donnie and April love story plot, in which, yes, even as a fan of this show, I can admit that plot line is annoying as sin. Why do these writers keep pairing the turtles up with April? It doesn't work. It didn't work for this show. It didn't work for the live action movie, and it doesn't work for Mutant Mayhem. Stop pairing the turtles with April. It's gross. Do you not understand? So I'm sorry, I can't look over that. But I do like how the writing does improve with each season and the concepts become crazier. The black hole generator, the Triceratons, space, mutant shredder, lots of stuff. There is a lot of stuff to love. It's become one of my favorite shows out there. One of my favorite action shows at the very least, especially like when it comes to animation. Mostly because it's like with superpowers, throwing beams or whatever at each other. It's turtles who know ninjutsu, so like you have to actually make the weapons fights look cool. So excelled 2012 show. Then we have Rise of the TMNT. The movie is excellent. If I was judging this based on the movie alone, it would probably like either go in goated or stands the test of time. That movie is amazing. If we're talking about the series, though, I feel like my feelings are a bit mixed on this, mostly because I haven't finished the series. I'm planning to, but I haven't finished the series. I've seen like season 1 and I've seen the movie. I know there's like 2 seasons, but I haven't seen the second season yet. But I did hear it gets a lot better. So for now, if we're basing it just off the first season in the movie, I will put it in good. I like the dynamic between the turtles. I wasn't a huge fan of the series being episodic. And as I said, I felt like there was a lot of Teen Titans Go energy being carried into the series because at the beginning of the series, it seemed like they didn't care for the franchise at all. They didn't care for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles names. There was no reference to other series before this one. We didn't get to see any familiar mutants. None of the turtles seemed like their former characters. Like Raph is the leader. Why? Leo is the one who likes messing around. Why? There's a lot of stuff that makes sense, especially when comparing it to the older series. But I think a lot of people really do like the dynamic between these turtles. And I think over time, it's gotten its own identity. It was able to get its own identity that still made it feel like TMNT, because there's a lot of TMNT elements in the disciple in. Like the series very much started off alien. It didn't like seem like TMNT at all. And then as time went on, now it started it started embracing more TMNT elements like the Krang, Shredder, the Foot Clan. Like it started actually embracing those other aspects of TMNT. It's basically the show wanted to earn the name Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles rather than just being another adaptation where we see how the turtles are born and how they came to be. I think that's cool personally. I really do like that. I like how the writers and the makers of the show are like, okay, we can't just make it another turtle show. We need to actually see how the turtles get their stuff. We need to actually see the turtles in a sense rise. They can't be the turtles right off the bat. We need to see how they become the characters we all know and love. And I like that fact. I like the fact that the showrunners decided they need to earn that title instead of just diving into it, which again is why the name of the series makes so much sense, Rise of the TMNT. And I will say that when it comes to the turtle stuff, recency bias is also something that annoys me, mostly because every time a new Turtles project is announced, I can't help but think about the old Turtles project and like how that was so much better than this new one that they're announcing. Like the 2012 series ended in 2017, yeah, and Rise was announced to be coming out in 2018, a couple months later. And a lot of people weren't over the 2017 show. It's like, no, 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 guys, we just had a good show. Let us enjoy, that let's enjoy the final feeling of that show leaving us. Let's reminisce a bit. And then the new show came out and everyone hated it. Like I hate the new designs, I hate the 2D animation. Why are you doing this to your show? Like it was all that kind of nonsense. Like people were like so annoyed at Rise because it was so much different than Toy Show. And for good reason. Nickelodeon didn't give it enough time to sit in. It's not like Teen Titans where at the very least they waited 10 years before they rebooted it. Here they literally waited a couple months and they're like reboot. And then they did the same thing again. Last year we got the Rise of the TMNT movie, and then immediately after that movie comes out, they announced that they have a new movie in the works, Mutant Mayhem. And don't get me wrong, Mutant Mayhem is good. I think it's a good movie. I haven't done a review on it, obviously, but I think it's a good movie. But to me, it's not Rise. It's not comparable to Rise, especially to the Rise movie. I love the Rise of the TMNT movie. The action done movie is so good. And the action in Mutant Mayhem, it's like the entire time throughout the movie, I'm like, it's not bad, it's just not Rise. That's because they haven't even given us enough time to let like Rise, the cancellation of Rise settle in and sit in and be done with. And now we have to enjoy this Mutant Mayhem. How can I be invested in Mutant Mayhem if I don't know if you're gonna reboot it again the next year? They did say they're working on a sequel and a TV show, a series focusing on the turtles, which I'm cool with. But how do I know you're not gonna cancel it afterward? Like, what are you doing, guys? Like, at the very least, when a show ends, let it end for a minute before announcing the new project. Again, Teen Titans and Teen Titans Go did this so much better. Better. I don't know why they keep rebooting TMNT and expecting us to fall in love with the new project immediately, where we just got done with the old project. Like, give it a minute, guys. So, anyway, that was a mini rant. So yeah, based on what I think about Rise, it's good. I think Rise is good. Mini rant. I don't know what I was on. To these nostalgic cartoons. But yeah, I think Rise is good. I'll finish the second season, and if it's really good, I'll put it up in like Goated or Amazing or whatever. So or Test of Time or whatever. Justice. Haven't seen it. Haven't seen it. I heard the first season is good, and then it goes downhill afterwards. So don't shoot me. Ben 10 reboot. I haven't seen the Ben 10 reboot. After Omniverse, I just kind of stopped watching the Ben 10. I stopped being invested. I heard the reboot also isn't very good, and it carries a lot of that Teen Titans Go energy, where it's kind of like making fun of the franchise. But like Rise, it soon embraces a bit more of it. I did see the finale of the reboot. I'm gonna just say it now. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Because in the finale, we like all the Bens from across the multiverse, like Ultimate Alien Ben, Omniverse Ben, OG Ben, they've all been pulled from the multiverse to help this new Ben. And they're helping him fight an evil version of Ben. And this evil version is Alien X. Like he's turned into Alien X and he's fighting all the other Bens as Alien X. And they beat him with Ripjaw. You beat Alien X, basically Benton's version of a god, with a fish. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm just gonna leave it at that. The Ben 10 reboot finale threw me off so hard. This is why you don't watch finales without getting context. I was so pissed off. That is not how you do Ben 10. But yeah. All right, then we have the Ben 10 show. Mostly because those are pre 2010, so I'm assuming they didn't come out by then. But these two shows did come out post 2010. I like these shows. I like Ben 10 a lot. It's a shame. I should get back into the Ben 10 like community sort of. I should like fully develop myself in Ben 10 again. Mostly because after Omniverse, I just kind of dropped out and I never looked back. Like I haven't heard much of Ben 10 since. I have heard they're working on a live action movie, but since then, it's like I almost know nothing about Ben 10. I've even forgotten a bunch of stuff from it. So, but remember, I liked Ultimate Alien a lot, and I liked Omniverse. Well, I wasn't a huge fan of Omniverse. I liked Ultimate Alien. I thought where Ultimate Alien ended was pretty good. And then I heard they were making Omniverse, and I didn't like it again because of the art style change. And I'm like, ew, why are they making my band look like this? What is this new animation change? They're getting rid of the group. They're getting rid of the trio. Who's this new guy? There was a lot of stuff I did not like about Omniverse. Then again, that's the recency bias. They made Omniverse shortly after they ended Ultimate Alien, and I was wondering what's the point. Looking back on it, Omniverse, I do like it a lot more now. It definitely introduced a lot of strong elements. I do think the world building is at its best in Omniverse. The action scenes also look really cool, and I like a lot of the alien designs. Not gonna lie, I think the alien designs are the best in Omniverse. It's just the animation change and everything new they added was just throwing me off too much. That and Omniverse fans annoy me. They annoy the hell out of me. They are so annoying and pretentious, but you live and you learn, I guess. The Ultimate Alien in good because I do remember a lot about it. And I do remember enjoying a lot about it. This was like one of the first Ben 10 things I've seen after the OG series and Alien Force. Omniverse, I think nostalgia carries it for me. There's a lot about Omniverse that is carried because of nostalgia. So yeah. Let's see. Haven't seen Generator Rex. I know I'm gonna anger so many Ben 10 fans because like Ben 10 fans and Generator Rex fans basically go hand in hand. Man of Action and all that stuff. Like they made both shows around the same time. Be Cool Scooby Doo. Never saw this show. The designs really threw me off. I did not. Not to mention recency bias as well, because this show came out very shortly after Scooby Doo Mystery Incorporated, which I'll talk about in a second. Scooby Doo, guess who? I may have seen this show, but I, for the life of me, cannot remember it. So we're just gonna put it there. Scooby Doo Mystery Incorporated, hands down, best Scooby Doo show. This is, in my opinion, this is Scooby Doo. This is the definitive version of them. Like, yeah, it's good. Scooby Doo, where are you? What's new, Scooby Doo? All that stuff. It's like all that stuff, right? And you have the Scooby Doo movies and all that stuff. It's like, yeah, we got many versions of Scooby Doo, but this to me is the most straightforward version of Scooby Doo. I like how half the time the monster they aren't. I actually took a break from this show for a bit, came back. Uh, Scooby Doo, I hated them because like we got such good designs with Mystery Incorporated, and then Be Cool just completely, crapped the bed. I love Mystery Incorporated. It's not the most memorable, but it is hands down the best version in my opinion. So for that, it goes in goated, I think. Alvin. It's not Alvin because there's no multiple I's, it's multiple N. So it's Alvin and the Chipmunks. I am ashamed to say I watched the show and I very much hated it. So what I really hate most about this show is just so also if there's a lot of light, forgive me, the sun's moved there. I hate it. If there's things I can tell about this show is that the world doesn't make sense. Like you have chipmunks falling in love with humans left, right, etc. It's like the TMNT problem all over again. However, unlike TMNT, where the turtles are the same size as humans, so you can like somewhat imagine them in a relationship. The chipmunks are like the actual sizes of chipmunks. It doesn't work at all. Like you have like these tiny creatures falling in love with like huge humans. It's so jarring. And on top of that, you have the chipettes who sleep outside, which is weird because like aren't they technically the chipmunk sisters? Why are they sleeping outside? Yeah, it's a treehouse, but they're still sleeping outside. Hello. And then Alvin and his bros get a room. I hate this show. I hate it worse than Spider-Man 2017, mostly because there's nothing redeemable about this show. Even the CG animation is ugly as hell. At the very least, Spider-Man 2017, I said there was some arcs I enjoyed. I haven't seen Bluey, though I some of my young family friends, I guess, I've seen them watching it. It looks cool, it looks charming. I know some adults actually enjoy it. It's whatnot. I've been recommended it. I don't have the time, but we'll see. Carmen San Diego, haven't seen it. Heard it's pretty, so it's something. Craig of the Creek, haven't seen it. This is like late Cartoon Network stuff now. Like this came late on in life when I didn't watch Cartoon Network as much, so I didn't get a chance to see it. Dan versus, no idea what that is. So DC Superhero Girls, haven't seen this. I do know they have a crossover with Teen Titans Go, so that's pretty funny. That's about it. Uh, Elena of Avalor, this showed up on Disney Junior. That alone was enough for me not to watch it. There was only like one show I bothered to watch on Disney Junior. That was it. Fish hooks, don't remember much from it. I do remember I watched it a bunch with my cousins when I was young, but I don't remember a lot from it. G.I. Geo, yeah, never seen it. 108, have no idea what that is. Kick Batowski, watched it a bunch as a kid, but barely remember it, so we're just gonna leave it. Mad, no idea what Mad is. I thought it was like Horrid Henry for a second, have not seen it. Monsters vs. Aliens, the series. I've seen the movie and I've seen the series, and this is a hot take. I know this is like the hottest of hot takes, but I think I might prefer the series to the movie. Just so funny. It is so funny. I love Bob. Bob is one of the most underrated animated characters ever. He is so hilarious. Like, yeah, he's not voiced by Seth Rogen in the series. I think Seth Rogen gives him that extra bit of charm, but he's just so cool. And I love his like design and concept. It's so simple, yet so creative. You can do so much with it. And I also love. Okay, this is a weird tangent, but one thing I will say about the series is that it's so weird because, like, in the movie, right, you have Susan who hates being a giant. She spends like 99% of the movie wishing she was normal size, and then at the end of the movie, she learns that it's okay to be giant and to embrace her giant self. And then you have the series where in the first episode they make Susan normal size, they make her human size again, and then she's upset about it. She's like, no, I want to be giant. Make me giant again. And then she spends the entire pilot trying to become giant again. And then, of course, now she can change her size. She can be giant. She can be small. I understand why they made her small. It's because there would have been too much budget to make a giant for throughout the entire series. But like, goddamn, did they really go to great lengths to make her small and giant, and like they have to fluctuate between the two? It was hilarious. To me, it was personally, it was like very funny how they just reversed her entire character arc in a matter of minutes. Because like I'm pretty sure the series picks up like right after the movie. Yeah. Anyway, I know people don't like the series. I know a lot of people really don't like the series, and this comes from most people who don't like the movie. I like the movie a lot. I think the movie was pretty funny with a lot of what it was doing. But the series, I just found it so funny. So again, it falls either in between nostalgia carries this choice or good. I'm gonna put it in good because I do have a lot of fun memories of the series. I think this series is what actually inspired me to get a dog, if I'm not wrong. Or at least it made me beg for a dog. I have not seen My Little Pony. Ninjago. I mean, do we even need to speak on this one? You guys know I'm a huge Ninjago fan. Honestly, I keep forgetting Ninjago is a 2010 show. It came out in 2011 and it's 2023. It's been going 12 years strong. But yeah, you guys know I'm a huge Ninjago fan. I've made countless video essays. I've reviewed every season that's come out so far. The reason you haven't seen me make a Dragon's Rising review is because I'm waiting for the season to be over. I'm not gonna review the first half and leave it at that. It's the same case with the Crystallize situation. So I'm waiting for this next season, which is coming out next month, I believe, to come out, and then I can review the whole thing. I've been with Ninjago for a while. I've seen all the seasons. I've played some of the mobile games. Haven't played the movie video game yet. Instead of watched the movie. Yeah, I mean, I think it's safe to say I'm a huge Ninjago fan. The only thing I haven't gone around to yet is reading the comics, which I should probably do at some point. But on this list so far, I think it's safe to say Ninjago is the best series. Not only has it stood the test of time, like not only do the early seasons hold up, but the fact that I'm still watching it to this day shows what kind of quality show it is. I honestly like cannot recommend Ninjago enough to those who haven't seen it. However, again, we have started a new show. Like there is a it's a the new sequel show has come out. So uh it's hard for me to recommend it because there's so much continuity and backstory to Ninjago. It's like recommending, Dragon Ball or One Piece to someone. Like there's so much content. I feel guilty recommending it because like how are they gonna get through all of that nonsense? Like there's no way in hell you're gonna get through it that fast. But if you're interested, I highly recommend it. Ninjago's good. Have not seen OKKO. PJ Masks. I do remember seeing this a bunch in Disney Plus, and apparently it's like really popular. Never got behind it though. Like at that point in time, I was getting too for Disney Junior, Disney Plus, Disney Junior. Planet Sheen. I do remember watching this. I will put it in the. It was good then, less now. It was good then that like my ADHD mind just absorbed whatever content was given to me. Like the animation was ugly, yes, but I don't know. Some parts of it were like hella funny. Like I still, how should I say? I still reference parts of this show to this day. Uh, I still, yeah, no, I still remember, like, I still have some like fond, funny memories of this show to this day. But it's really not a good show. It really does not compare to Jimmy Neutron. But I would say people are being too mean to it, but I think really it's the nostalgia that's clouding it for me. So it's either like nostalgia carries this choice, or it was good then, less now. That's where I'd put it in. Randy Cunningham, Eighth Grade Ninja. I young have not. I have no idea what this is. So, you know, we'll put this is like the second or third best Sonic series. The first two being Sonic Sat.AM and Sonic Prime. I think was a better. Sonic Boom was fine. I liked the humor, the very fourth wall breaking humor. I think this series does employ a lot of the same tactics Teen Titans Go did, where it doesn't seem to want to honor its brand name. Like this isn't like how should I say? Sonic Boom isn't the most definitive version of Sonic. It's not the most representative version of the character. Like if you're a Sonic fan or if you want to get into Sonic, I would not recommend this for you. This feels very much like you'd have to at least know a bit of knowledge of these characters before you like it. As a comedy, though, it's funny. This is a very funny show. It's very funny. I'm not gonna lie. It how should I say? It I said the humor, like the fourth wall breaking humor, is very good. The timing and some of the sound effects they use for the jokes is also like really good. The action does leave a bit wanting, and whenever they do try to tackle a more serious story, like a serialized story, it always feels like it comes out of nowhere because again, it does prioritize comedy over the story first. But I'd say it's good. It's good. I don't remember the fan base hating it a lot as well. Like I know someone put off by it because again, it gave off Teen Titans vibes, but I don't remember anyone outrightly hating it. So there's that. I have no idea what this show is. I cannot tell you what it is for the life of me. I've not seen it before. Puss in Boots, the Netflix series. Yes, I have watched this show. And honestly, it's hella underrated. I don't think anyone ever references the Netflix show. Anyone at all. I have no idea if it's even canon to the Shrek universe. It might not be canon, but if it is, cool. But I don't think it's canon. If it is canon, then it probably takes place like way further down the timeline because this is a way older Puss. Yeah, it's a very selfish Puss, not like we see in Last Wish at all. Last Wish actually goes through some development. This Puss, he is very self-centered for a lot of it, and in fact, the whole point of the series is him learning to be like less self-centered. Like he ends the series actually a better person, but the fact that it took 6 seasons for him to learn this is very much wanting. So I wouldn't say it's canon to the Shrek universe. At least I don't think it's canon anymore. But I enjoyed it for the most part. I liked it when I liked whenever they did like bigger storylines, like the Blood Wolf storyline. It's just we only got like Blood Wolf one episode or whatever. There was the Underworld storyline, which I really liked, and then we got the Great Mage Sino towards the end. One thing I do hate about this series though is that they pulled a Troll Hunters and reversed everything. The last episode of this series, basically, Puss goes back to the first episode, prevents himself from going into the town, and the series never happens. Meaning the last 6 seasons worth of content useless. Nothing means anything anymore. I hate the ending of this series. They pulled the Troll Hunters, and the fact that DreamWorks got away with doing this twice shows to me that they will make a show, but they have no intention of ending it or paying it off well. So screw you, DreamWorks. However, unlike Troll Hunters, I don't hold it up to the same caliber because let's face it, the show wasn't as good as it wasn't as good as Troll Hunters. It was very entertaining for what it is. It was mostly episodic as well. Like there was no bigger storyline they started building to us until like season 4. So like the first 3 seasons were very episodic. And one of the earlier episodes, especially like one of the earlier seasons, like season 1, when he was doing like the whole Sphinx thing, that was funny. That is one of the funniest episodes of cartoon I've ever seen. Because I remember my family and I would watch that over and over and over again, and we would die whenever we got to that Sphinx episode. It was so funny, and I cannot explain to you how. So yeah, the show is funny. It's fun. It's very episodic, especially like for the first 3 seasons. However, the minute they start doing like dedicated storylines, I can't enjoy it the same anymore. Mostly because I know how it ends, and I don't like it. So yeah, I'll put it in good for now. It's just good. If they didn't retcon everything at the end, um, I'd put in like goat or something. Or maybe because the series technically never happened, it is still canon because Puss is now, not selfish anymore. But I don't know, it still kind of contradicts his arc in The Last Wish. So, pick and choose your poison. The Awesomes. Never heard of this. Never seen it. Never watched it. Lion Guard. This is the one. This is the only show I bothered to watch on Disney Junior. Like this is the only reason I tuned into Disney Junior. As far as I'm concerned, I'm pretty sure this show is canon to the Lion King universe, like to the Lion King animated universe, the Lion King 1, Lion King 2. I don't see any reason why it isn't. I'm pretty sure like the writers behind it were very much intentionally trying to make it canon because all of this show does take place in that time between in Lion King 2 when Kiara was a cub and when she's a full-grown lioness. So yeah, I really like the adventure these characters went on. I like how the third season has a lot of consequences for them for their actions for like the adventures they go on. And I said, I like how it became a lot more serialized in the third season. In the beginning, it was very much a kid's show. Like, it was very much episodic baby fluff. And then towards the end, it became its own thing. I like how it got its own identity. It sort of grew up with its audience. And I like how it ended. They didn't kill Kyan off or anything. They just sent him away so he's not around for Lion King 2. I like that. I like that a lot. I have a lot of fond memories for Lion God. I might put it in the nostalgia carries it for me area, but I'll put it good because it was consistently good. Hell, I'll even say it was better than Puss in Boots good. 3 seasons is better than 6, where you retcon everything at the end. The Lighthouse, saw some episodes as a kid, never finished it. Magic School Bus, never watched it. Never watched the old one, never watched the reboot. Powerpuff Girls 2016. Yeah, I've heard horror stories about this show, not watching it. Told Dramarama. I heard, oh my gosh, you do not want to know where I was when I, like, you know how there's always that piece of news you hear, and you never forget where you are when you hear it. Like, say your brother is getting married or something, you'll never forget the day, he told you that he proposed or whatever. Like, that's an example. I'm not saying my brother's getting married, but like, you'll never forget the day when someone tells you something important. I will never forget the day Total Drama Rama was announced. I remember like Redonkulous Race had just wrapped up. It had barely been a year. And then they announced that they're doing a sort of, not a reboot, but a prequel show focusing on Total Drama characters. I was horrified. I'm like, no, no, just no. Why are you doing a baby show for the Total Drama characters of all people? Where's logic? What, huh? I was shooketh. I was so annoyed. I refused to watch the show. I refused to watch it out of principle and out of spite. I don't know if it's good or not. I don't know if it got better over time, but I refused to watch Total Drama Rama. I heard I also heard they've made a new Total Drama show. Like they've done another reboot of the show. Well, I don't know if it's a reboot or a sequel series. Like they've made another season of Total Drama. Basically, I still refuse to watch it. For me, Total Drama ended with Redonkulous Race. And even then, Redonkulous Race is a spin-off. It doesn't have a lot of the main characters. Like it has some returning characters, but not a lot of them. So if you ask me, the real Total Drama ended with All Stars and Paketu Island. That's really where it ended. And then Redonkulous Race was a fun spin-off. But Total Drama Rama, I do not count as part of the canon, and I don't know what they're doing with this new show, but I'm not gonna watch it. Tough Puppy, I barely remember this show. I just remember I enjoyed it a lot. That's all I know. So, and I know Butch Hartman like rides on this one a lot. He's like, "Oh yeah, I made your childhood with this one." It's like, yeah, yeah, this one and Very Odd Parents. Yeah, it's yeah. I'll just put in nostalgia carries this choice, mostly because I just remember enjoying it. I don't remember too much about it. Uncle Grandpa, barely watched it. Barely watched it. Big City Greens, never watched it. Dawn of the Cruise, ooh, I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed it a lot. Um, I can't say it's as good as the Puss in Boots show, but I will say, unlike Puss in Boots, Dawn of the Cruise could very well be canon to the Cruise timeline. As far as I'm concerned, like I don't think they do anything canon breaking. If anything, they kind of show us like how the Cruise used to live their lives before all their neighbors died off, and before the movie happened. And the ending actually does kind of tie into the movie, so I think that's pretty cool. I enjoyed Dawn of the Cruise. It's a fun little show, but nothing amazing. So nostalgia carries it, basically. Disenchantment. Never watched it. Never will. Do not plan to. Fangbone. Never heard of it. Never watched it. Grudge Band. Ooh, I remember enjoying this one a lot. I remember like looking forward to like this new songs they would write every episode, especially like when the main character like tried to get his sister to get to be emotional, so she'd write in a diary. That was always fun. Now I look back on it, he was straight up abusing his sister. He was like emotionally manipulating her. Like, goddamn. Also, I hated the will they wound they romance between like the main character and like the red hair girl. Like they kept teasing it every episode, and it never paid annoyed. Like those romances where it's like, oh my god, just get over it. Yeah, that was the thing with Garage Band. I was annoyed by it. And the two like these guys in the back here, they were always like sharp to the side. They were always doing like some B plot nonsense. It was it got frustrating after a while. This show definitely it got frustrating like the longer it went on. But I like it. I like it. Also, they call themselves the Garage Band and never Grudge Band, and they always annoy me because like the title of the show was Grudge Band, but they kept calling themselves Garage Band. I'm like, did the marketing team and the writers never communicate? It was actually kind of annoying, but yeah, never heard of this, so just putting it there. I don't even know what that is. The Looney Tunes show. Watched a couple episodes of it as a kid, but never stuck around. Paradise PD, never seen it, don't plan to watch it. Regular show, this show is goated. My brother absolutely loves this show. This is one of his favorite shows of all time. I can't say the same. Whenever I like compile a top 10 shows list, regular show doesn't crack the top 10. It's a good show, don't get me wrong. Pretty sure like maybe if I did a top 20 to be there. But I think it's goated. I definitely do think regular show is amazing. I can't even call it underrated because everyone grew up with regular show. Honestly, I think it stands the test of time. Like even after all these years, it's still great, it's still funny. But I wouldn't put it in a top 10 cartoon list. But it's amazing. Sorry. And I think the movie did a lot right for it, if you ask me. Slug Terror, never watched it. Two Looney Tunes, Looney Tunes show. Okay, never seen either. That's fine. I know I watched Looney Tunes as a kid. I just can't remember the episodes. Voltron Force, never seen it. Voltron Legendary Defenders. I used to see this on like Netflix, Netflix recommendations a lot. Just never got around to it. Wonder Over Yonder, haven't seen it. Oh gosh, this is a lot of shows I haven't seen. You guys are thinking less of me now. Zack Storm, never seen it. Clarissa, I have no idea what that one is. Never seen it at all. Axe Cop, never seen it. Ball Masters, never seen it. Black Dynamite, never seen it. You guys are just gonna see me listing off shows I have never seen. This is embarrassing. Bless Thy Hearts. What is that? BoJack, never seen it. Humankind, I've never seen it. I have been recommended Love, Death, and Robots, but I've never seen it, so can't really help you there. Ugly Americans, never seen it. Undone, never seen it. Oh, you guys are gonna hate me for this one, but Three Below. Believe it or not, as much of a Tales of Arcadia fan as I am, I've never seen Three Below. I've seen Troll Hunters. I skipped straight to Wizards. I did see the Three Below finale. I have seen some episodes of Three Below. I've seen like that's the thing. The only episodes from Three Below I've seen are the only like the episodes that tie into Troll Hunters. I've never like judged this show on its own merits. I only watch the Troll Hunters related episodes. So I'm biased. Yes, I'm a horrible person. Yeah. But I've never like watched the show in its entirety. I mean, it's not a bad concept. It's just I just really like the Troll Hunter stuff more. I watched Troll Hunters. I skipped majority of Three Below, watched Wizards, watched the movie, and then called it a day. So I hate myself. You guys are allowed to hate me, but yeah, never got around to Three Below. Watched some episodes of Adventure Time when I was young, but never stuck around. Haven't seen Amphibia. Okay, here we go. Legend of Korra. Let's start off talking about Atlas, shall we? How about you talk about the what do you call it? The Last Airbender. I absolutely adore The Last Airbender. The Last Airbender was an amazing show. And I think it's a miracle of a show to be made. The world building was amazing. The animation was great. The fight scenes were awesome. And there was just so much to love about it. I really did love Avatar The Last Airbender. It is hands down one of my favorite shows ever made and one of the best, not just one of the best cartoons ever made, but like one of the best shows made, period. I think the only thing that competes with it in my mind is Attack on Titan. That's just how amazing it was. And then we have Legend of Korra, the sequel series, and you wonder like how are they gonna match up to it? And I think they held up pretty well. I think it was a pretty good sequel series overall. It's not the best show. Wait. Yeah, it's not the best series ever made. I'm not gonna lie to you. What is happening? Okay, it's not the best series ever made. Nor does it even compare to the original Avatar show. But I think for what they did it really well. I will say I do feel bad for this series because it went through hell in terms of production. Like it went through production hell, and I feel so bad for the Legend of Korra, because of that. Because like every season they made, the network basically told them that this could be their last season, which is why they always had to have a villain, one villain per season, and why they had to wrap up as many story arcs as they could per season because they didn't know if they were gonna make another season. They didn't know if they were gonna get the chance to make another season. And I really do feel bad for them. It was Nickelodeon was so hard on the Legend of Korra production team because like this is the same team that worked on The Last Airbender, which was one of Nickelodeon's most successful series. So you'd think that they would be a lot more favorable when it comes to making a sequel series, but they weren't. And it's so crazy how bad production was during that time. And now like looking back on it, because like now we Viacom has made a whole new studio just for Avatar. They've literally made Avatar Studios where they're working on so many projects there. So it's crazy to me like how Viacom has opened a whole new studio for them to kind of do whatever they want to do there. And then looking back on like the Legend of Korra, seeing how badly they were mistreated, it's like whiplash. It's like, wow, how the times have changed so fast. So I do feel bad for them, which is why I'm not so hard on this show. Look at it. I know a lot of Avatar fans really hate it. I'm actually surprised by how many Avatar fans really hate The Legend of Korra, but I wasn't against it. I think the first season was fine. The first season was serviceable. It did what it needed to do. It was also respectable to the old series. A lot of sequel legacy, installments these days of like big projects are very, I want to say, disrespectful to what came before them. As said, Teen Titans Go is an example of this. The Star Wars sequels are an example of this. But Legend of Korra, see, the first season has a lot of respect to like the previous show. Season two, everyone agrees that's the worst one. I don't outright hate it. There's a lot, like you know me, I love wacky things in my show every now and again. But I do agree that they jumped the shark in a lot of places. The third season is the only season I think is comparable to like the original Avatar. Like the third season is the only season of the four that I think even holds a candle and can even match up to what the last Airbender did. And then the fourth season, I have mixed feelings on it. The first half is really great stuff, and then the back half they go back to jumping the shark nonsense like they did in season two. It's a mixed bag. The Legend of Korra is very much a mixed bag. But I do think the show is great. I like the designs, I like the fight scenes, I like the world building. And hey, even as a guy who doesn't really like season two, I even like the retcon they made. It makes a lot of sense to me. Of course, the Avatar would be half spirit. They literally even said this in the previous show that the Avatar is supposed to be the bridge between um what do you call it, between spirits and humans. So the Avatar being a half spirit this entire time, that made sense to me. I don't know, I liked it. A lot of people really didn't like it, but I liked it. And I like the concept of a dark Avatar as well. I know a lot of people really hate it because I don't know, in their minds the Avatar has a lot of, here's the thing, for most of the fan base's mind, the Avatar has a lot of agency to them. Like they have, like one day we could get an Avatar who decides to be evil and they overthrew an empire or something and become the king. And Legend of Korra basically said, no, that's not the case. The Avatar is always a good being. There will never be an evil Avatar unless an evil spirit possesses them. And the fan base really hated this because apparently it took away agency from the Avatar. But this to me never made sense because, like, in the last Airbender, they outright say the Avatar is always born or chosen to bring balance. This insinuated to me that every Avatar who is chosen is innately good. Every Avatar that, the spirits choose is always going to do the right thing. They will never do anything malicious. They will never seek power. They will never go out of their way to upset the balance. The Avatar always wants to cause balance at the end of the day. There'll never be a chaotic Avatar because the Avatar is just intrinsically that way. They are born that way to have balance and order in their lives. So I don't know why people want to see an Avatar want to upset the balance when that is not how it works. Rava never chooses anyone who would upset the balance. She always chooses someone who likes to keep things orderly. I don't know. Maybe it's just me who's taking the crazy pills here, but I just don't understand the people who are so mad that Legend of Korra season two took away agency from the Avatar or something like that. It just never made sense to me. The Avatar is always supposed to bring balance. Honestly, if they ever have an Avatar that breaks the balance or goes out of the way to upset the balance, I would be upset personally. But maybe I'm the kooky one here. Maybe I'm the one who likes things to be a certain way and puts them in their own boxes. Oh, shame on me! Shame on me for liking things the way they are. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. So I don't know. Legend of Korra, I'll consider it goated. I think I enjoyed it a lot. But again, the nostalgia juices may be pouring through for me. Who knows? Bob's Burgers, have not seen it. Brickleberry, have not seen it. Castlevania, have not seen it. I've heard it's pretty good though, so who knows? Detentionaire, never seen that. Dragons Riders of Berk. If they brought this one, I don't know if this counts for both this and the Netflix series Race to the Edge, but I really like both of these shows. I like Race to the Edge a lot more, but I like both of these shows a lot. I like the different species of dragon. They introduced the world building is really cool. The animation again in Race to the Edge is a lot better. I like how it almost looks movie level. And the adventures the characters go on are really cool. Riders of Berk is a lot less memorable to me, I will say. I have a lot more stronger ties to Race to the Edge. Race to the Edge is my baby when it comes to the dragon shows. Riders of Berk, basically Riders of Berk walks so Race to the Edge could fly. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's whatever. I like Riders of Berk enough though. It introduced a lot of cool dragons. Like I think Riders of Berk introduced like the Screaming Death. So it's pretty good. Pretty good for what it is. Pretty good for a DreamWorks series. Honestly, it kind of amazes me, like looking back, how many series DreamWorks have made. Like not even counting the original stuff. Like I know Voltron is original, but like not counting the original stuff. Like just looking at the movie only series, they have made so many TV shows based on the movies alone. We have Puss in Boots, King Julian, the Dragon series, Trolls, Mr. Peabody and Sherman. They have made so many series based on their movies, and then you add in the originals like the Tales of Arcadia series, Voltron, She-Ra. It's insane. It's honestly kind of insane how much stuff DreamWorks has pumped out. Dawn of the Croods, and like Disney is just starting out. DreamWorks has been doing this for decades. I'm pretty sure, like okay, decade maybe, but they've been doing this for a while. DuckTales, I started it, never finished it. Final Space, never watched it. Gravity Falls, never watched it. Death to watch this show. And the more you nag me, the less I'm inclined to watch it. But yeah, I haven't seen it. Hilda, haven't seen it. Infinity Train, I've also been nagged towards this one a lot. The concept is cool. I like the idea of each train cart being a dimension. That sounds hella cool. But yeah, and I like how if you step out of the train you could die. Like it's like some weird Squid Game kind of level stuff. But yeah, never seen it. So what can I say there? Kung Fu Panda, Pause of Destiny. Haven't seen it. Mad when this series came out because it was also like kind of recency bias. Like Kung Fu Panda 3 had just wrapped up, and then they announced Pause of Destiny. It's like let us like chill, wait a bit. Let us at least soak up enjoying the trilogy wrapping up, and then you bring this in. Ugh. And then they announced Kung Fu Panda 4 recently, though I'm more open to the idea because it has been a while since Kung Fu Panda 3 ended. Like it's like by the time Kung Fu Panda 4 comes out, it's been 8 years since Kung Fu Panda 3 ended. So at least there's a longer wait time there. This thing came out almost as soon as Kung Fu Panda 3 came out. It's like, brother, chill. Legends of Awesomeness. I did watch this though on Nickelodeon. This one was fun. I'm sorry. I love Legends of Awesomeness so much. I don't know, it just uh, really like it a lot. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I really enjoy it. I'm pretty sure it's not canon anymore. There was a time when I think it was canon, like they introduced the idea of Tai Lung having a nephew and all that stuff. So I do think it was canon for a hot minute, but ever since Pause of Destiny came out and Kung Fu Panda 3 wrapped up, I don't think it's canon anymore. But one thing this series did is that they made Poe so ridiculously OP. Like they made him so OP that I'm pretty sure Legends of Awesomeness Poe could easily in a fight beat movie Poe. On top of that, we have like three DreamWorks series that they made. They have Paws of Destiny, Legends of Awesomeness, and Dragon. I don't know which one is canon. I don't think Dragonite is canon, at least as far as I'm aware. Maybe it is because they actually got Jack Black for that one, so maybe it is canon. Paws of Destiny, I don't know if it's canon. The reason I say they are not canon is because all three of them feature the Chinese Emperor in it, and the Chinese Emperor is a different animal in each version. Like in Legends of Awesomeness, I'm pretty sure like they're water bull. In Dragon Knight, they're a hamster or something, and then in Paws of Destiny, they're like a leopard. So it's like the Emperor is different in each version. Um, Not to mention Legends of Awesomeness takes place in between movie 1 and 2, and then Paws of Destiny and Dragon Knight both take place after movie 3. So it's like which one is canon? So I don't know if any of them are canon. I'm pretty sure none of them are canon, as far as I know. Maybe Paws of Destiny is canon. That's the one I know is talked about the most. But Legends of Awesomeness, I think I really enjoyed it for what it was. They made Poe ridiculously OP. Like they made him so overpowered in this show that when you go to like watch Kung Fu Panda 2 after watching this show, you will be confused as to why he's getting like his butt handed to him by all these other characters like Tigress and Shen. It's like, bro, you mastered like lava belly at one point. Use it. It's actually kind of ridiculous, like how underpowered movie Poe is compared to like Legends of Awesomeness Poe, which is why I think it's not canon anymore. Just because they're two completely different characters. Like movie Poe should be a Kung Fu master. He should be taking out villains easily left, right, and center. Yeah, in Kung Fu Panda 2, we see that isn't the case. In Kung Fu Panda 3, he's closer to like what he would be in Legends of Awesomeness. Like his power level is almost where it would be in Legends of Awesomeness. But like that's movie 3. This show takes place in between movie 1 and 2. So it's like, there's a disconnect there. But they made him so ridiculously overpowered in Legends of Awesomeness. I just cannot look at movie Poe the same way again. I think fighting a villain, it's like, bro, I've seen you do cooler things in the show. But yeah, I really enjoyed Legends of Awesomeness. I don't know if it's the member berries talking, but I would put it either in good or nostalgia carries it for me. Over the Garden Wall, I haven't seen. Rick and Morty. Okay, Rick and Morty is still ongoing, so it's really hard for me to feel nostalgic about it when I'm still watching the show. But I like it. I like it. I like it for what it is. The show is in a bit of a rocky space right now. I know Justin Roiland has been fired and removed from the show. And season 6, you guys know season 6 was very disappointing to me, especially like with the way season 5 ended, with the promising way season 5 ended. It seems as if season 6 just was afraid to dive into the concepts what would happen after season 5. Like we never get introduced to a villain who's smarter than Rick, aside from like the dinosaurs, but the dinosaurs are A, from the universe Rick is from, and B, they're not even villains. So it's like, huh? So yeah, we barely get any multiverse shenanigans in season 6. I would say like the episodes are fun. Like a lot of season 6's episodes are fun. That's just about it. They're just fun. Even the finale doesn't really count as a finale. It was so anticlimactic. I don't really have a lot of fun stuff to say about season 6. Season 6 just felt like it was afraid to do new stuff. They just wanted to do fun concepts for the sake of fun concepts. And it's like I mean, I guess that's fine, but you're Rick and Morty, like people would expect a bit higher from you. I don't know. I feel like after season three, the show just kind of is struggling finding its identity again. I'd say it's good enough for what it is. It's not goaded. Shira, haven't seen it. Star versus the Forces of Evil, haven't seen it. I heard the last season is just a mess. Rebels, ooh, I love Rebels. I love Rebels so much. I think this one is definitely like the member berries talking, because I don't remember enjoying Rebels this much when I watched it as a kid. But like I went to rewatch Rebels to prepare for Ahsoka, and it's so good. Like I never realized how good it is. Especially like season three and four, they're a huge step up above one and two. But that doesn't mean one and two are bad. One and two have like their own, they have like little episodes here and there where they're like really good. But like looking at Ezra's growth, Ezra has single-handedly become one of my favorite Star Wars characters because of his growth. Like in season one, he's this annoying, insufferable piece of crap character who I just hate with a passion. But then by the time we get to the end of season four, he has matured so much. It's like, I want you to meet Luke. I want you two to be buddies. I really hope like we do get some sort of Ahsoka show where like he, Jason, Ahsoka, and Luke all in one place. It would be so awesome. I cannot wait to see. And I love Rebels. It's a show time. I feel like it's a wine show. It's like, it's good. Obviously, but some parts of it really are just on that Clone Wars level. I think if you think about it, even like just addressing my Star Wars fans out there, this was Dave Filoni's first show that he was allowed to finish. Remember, he never got to by the time Rebels ended. So the ending he had for Rebels really is an impactful one. You could tell like he crafted it with so much like love and care. I think Rebels is one of those shows that really does. The more you revisit it, the years go by, the better it gets. Oh, love the world between worlds, by the way. I love how they introduced the concept of time travel into Star Wars, yet they never diluted it in a sense. I really like it. I like it a lot. I stand Rebels. We stand Rebels on this channel. We are Rebels fans on this channel. But speaking of Rebels fans, we have Resistance. I do not like Resistance. If you guys were here, if you guys have been like long-time viewers of my channel, you remember like when Resistance was coming out in 2018, and then when the second season came out in 2020, I talked a lot about Resistance. I don't like this show, mostly for the fact that it's a lot of missed potential. I don't like this show because it could have been so much more. Like when I heard of Resistance being a sort of sequel series to Rebels, I remember thinking to myself, oh, maybe we'll see the rise of Resistance. Maybe we'll see how Kylo Ren turned to evil, or we'll see Leia putting all the pieces together. Maybe we'll even get a bit of Jedi Leia. Like I thought this show was gonna employ the tactic Rebels and Clone Wars used, where it's one show that takes place over the course of many years. Like Clone Wars took place over the course of 3 years, Rebels took place over the course of like 4 to 5 years. So I thought Resistance was gonna take place over the course of like 10 to 15 years or something. We just get to see how events in the galaxy slowly built up to the First Order and the sequel trilogy taking place. But they didn't. All of Resistance takes place in the course of like 1 year, and it's all about, and it's not even focusing on like any of the main characters from the original trilogy. It's focusing on like these new characters, these young kid characters. Oh, we're so cool, rebellious, all that stuff, on like some water planet. So of course it's the most boring planet in existence. I bet you the only reason they put it on a water planet was just so they didn't have to animate much, was so that they didn't have to like waste the budget on animation every other episode. It's like, no, we're keeping you here because we cannot be like bothered to animate a new set piece every other week. And like the first season, as I said, doesn't even feature any major characters aside from Poe and Leia in holograms. And then the second season just abandons all that. The second season is like addresses the last Jedi happened, and then it like moves on with life. It's like, huh? Yeah, I don't enjoy Resistance at all. The main characters are very annoying. Kaz and his friend, the green alien, they're very annoying. This chick, the chick in blue and white here, I thought she was gonna be annoying. She's fine, but the black chick actually gets an interesting redemption arc. She like turns bad for a second, comes back at the end. That was pretty cool. And then yeah, I feel like this show was a lot of missed potential. Is what I'm gonna say. This show could have been, like how Clone Wars is Clone Wars to the prequels. This show could have been the Clone Wars to the. I mean, how okay. This show could have been what Clone Wars was to the prequels. This show could have been to the sequels what Clone Wars was to the prequels. This show could have done so much better on the world building. We could have seen more of the New Republic. We could have seen the true threats the First Order represents. We could have seen more of the war between the Resistance and the First Order. But we don't see that. It's so much side questing. That's really what this show is. This show is like one big side quest. You really don't have to watch it, even if you're a diehard Star Wars fan. And I don't even want to show like kids this. Like if I have a kid or whatever who's like getting into Star Wars or is new to Star Wars, I wouldn't show them this. I would show them Rebels or something. That's an easier way to get Star Wars. This is it's such a nothing burger of a show. There is so much missed potential with this show, and then the stuff they actually do bother to do, it's like it's not even worth it. It's not even like worth theorizing in the show because like there's almost no substance to it. And that's what I love is that before the Bad Batch, this was the last animated Star Wars show that Disney had produced, and then the Bad Batch comes into the picture, and you can tell they did not want to make the same mistakes they made with Resistance. So like with the Bad Batch, there was like so much bad stuff they did. For one, they put it in a time period that makes sense in between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. They upped the animation budget. The show actually looks good. Every episode looks like a mini movie, and they tied it in more with the legacy stuff. Like they had characters from other Star Wars, shows and movies pop up every now and again, and they actually had a vision for their story to drive it forward. With Resistance, there was no vision. This is also partially in part to the sequel trilogy. The sequel trilogy had no vision. For those who don't know, the sequel trilogy wasn't even planned to begin with, and so when the sequels were being made. Like I said, Resistance season 1 came out in between The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, and then season 2 came out after Rise of Skywalker ended. And so of course, you would have the guys who are working on Resistance talk to the guys who are working on the sequel trilogy and being like, hey, can we do this? Is this canon? Will this interrupt your story? And apparently, the guys who are working on the sequel trilogy didn't plan their story out. And because they didn't plan their story out, the guys working on Resistance also couldn't plan their story out. If they weren't working, they couldn't work. It was kind of like a symbiotic relationship. One couldn't happen without the other. So if one didn't have a plan, of course these guys couldn't have a plan because no one was sure what would happen next. And then on top of that, it's like because they had no plan, they basically made the entire series one big side quest. It just angers me. It angers me a lot because Resistance really could have been so much better and it could have been so much more, but it didn't. And by the way, if you're wondering why the characters in Resistance never met any of the sequel trilogy characters, that's why. It's because there was no plan. The Resistance characters, we don't even see them until the Rise of Skywalker, where they make the tiniest of appearances in like a cameo, because like Kazuda and his friends show up with like the battalion of ships Lando calls in for Job the Resistance. In the end of episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. But like that's the last time we hear any of the Resistance. We hear like any of the Resistance characters, like any of the existence, until the Ahsoka show where Kaz's dad gets mentioned. But it's like it's so dumb. It's so dumb that they didn't have a plan for the series. There was no overarching story. They didn't have plans to tie it in with the sequel trilogy, or if they did, they couldn't because the sequel trilogy people didn't plan it out. It was a mess. And like this show could have actually expanded on that time period in between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, kind of like how Rebels expanded on that time period between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, but they didn't. And what's sad is that every new Star Wars series we get, except the Bad Batch, I'm counting like the 3 main ones that came out with each trilogy, you can tell like they get less and less, connected with each trilogy. Like the prequel, like Clone Wars, the main characters of Clone Wars were Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka. Those were main characters in the movies, except Ahsoka. Like Anakin and Obi-Wan carried the prequels. And then you have Rebels, which doesn't obviously, you can't use main characters like Leia and Han and Luke every now and again, but they were able to reference them. Like Luke is referenced in one episode, Leia is the main character for an episode, and then you have Resistance where it's like, yeah, none of the sequel characters show up. Like Poe is a bit of a player in the first season, but then Finn and Rey don't show up in the series at all, and it's kind of sad if you ask me. I feel like there was a real bond between Kaz and Poe, and they could have done a lot more with that, but they didn't. For whatever reason, they just had to boot Poe out so he could go do his thing in the sequels, and then Kaz doesn't meet him until, I'm assuming, after the Rise of Skywalker, when, as said, his ship shows up for like a brief appearance. Oh, why am I saying Resistance so high? I do not like Resistance. It's a disappointment of a show. You go down there. I don't like you three. Steven Universe and Steven Universe Future. I have not watched both of these. Titan AE. I do remember I watched this as a kid, but never finished it. Gumball, watched a couple episodes as a kid, never finished it. Apparently the series isn't even over, but I did hear they're talking about like a new season. So Gumball fans, hooray for you. Um, Deep. Oh God, I hate this show simply from an animation level. I remember I watched it when it came out, and I was so excited because like I'm into ocean stuff. You guys know me before becoming a writer. I wanted to be a marine biologist. What my favorite movie of all time is Finding Nemo. So when I hear like there's this weird sci-fi show about the ocean, I'm like, sign me up. But the show is ugly. Oh my God, the CG in the show is so bad. The whole animation is so bad that I straight up refuse to watch the show because of its animation. So I avoided it like the plague. I just did not bother with it at all. Dragon Prince haven't watched it, but I did hear it's like sort of like a spiritual successor to Avatar, because like, you know, Sokka's voice actor is in it, so that's pretty funny. The Hollow, that's an underrated show right there. I don't know anyone who's watched The Hollow. I watched The Hollow. It was good. I liked it. I like the first season. It's completely shrouded in mystery, and then you get to the end and you realize, oh, they're in a video game. That's crazy. And it's like, oh man, I love the first season so much. The first season is the definition of like one of those mystery kids shows, mystery horror-esque kids shows that don't reveal what the mystery is until the end of the season. Except for most kids shows, they don't reveal the mystery until like the end of the series or whatever. This show did it, they revealed the end of the mystery at the end of the first season. I like the live action segment you got at the end. And then the second season sets off a whole new mystery. The second season is arguably better in my opinion, because like not only do they start off with a whole new mystery that you don't figure out until like halfway through the season, but it's also very horror-esque because the characters in universe are, because like they go off the video game at the end of the first season, right? So we've wrapped up that storyline. What's going on in this season? Like, what's happening this time around? Are they in reality? Are they in the game? Did they decide to go for another round? Like, what's happening in this reality? But like in the first season, you see the characters weren't really confused for the most part. I mean, they're confused about the world around them and they're just kind of going through the motions. But you never got like there was a sense of danger. In the second season, because the audience kind of thought that they knew the answers, or like we thought we knew everything at the end of the first season, seeing the second season start off the way it did confuses everyone. So now both the characters and the audience are not only confused, but we're in distress, sort of. We're like, what is happening here? And I like how it has this horror-esque vibe. So I really like that. The second season definitely cranked things up to 11. Oh, and there's death. In the second season, they straight up kill characters, and characters stay dead. Unlike the first season, where it's like again the fear of death, the second season goes all the way. The second season is hardcore in some of the things it does. So the Hollow is good. I think the Hollow is very under. You know, make it a third season, but they kind of also knew Netflix doesn't allow most shows to go past the second season, which is why they gave season two a very conclusive ending. You know, like how should I say? They ended the second season in a satisfying way. Where like if you end the season, you can say, okay, the show is over. I don't need to continue from here. The show is good where it is. I don't need to continue on. But also, they also ended it in a way like, you know, if they made a season three, you'd be mad at them for making a season three. From where I stand, I like how season two ended. I'm fine with it where it ended. You know, enough time has passed for me to say I don't need a season three. I'm fine with them not making a season three. But as it stands, I'm glad we got the two seasons we did, because this is a very engaging show, very captivating, and very underrated. For those who haven't seen The Hollow, go check it out. I would recommend it. Um, let's see. I'm looking at all these shows here. Yeah, there's only one show in this entire row I've seen, so we'll talk about that one last. So let's just put all the rest of these up here so I can talk about it. So Thundercats, Transformers. I haven't seen any Transformers show. I am not a Transformers fan. Tuca and Birdie. I heard that show got canceled, got brought back. We Bear Bears, I watched a bit of it as a kid. Then I only watched the movie and then called it a day. So I don't know if it's over or not. I know there's like We Baby Bears, but I never bothered. Clarence, yes, I heard of that. Saw it a bit, didn't bother finishing it. Mau Mau, I never saw it. King Hearts of Kingdoms, Kingdoms of Hearts, I don't care. Ruby, apparently the Ruby community is hella toxic. I'm not even gonna like touch that one. Um, Unsupervised, never heard of that. Oh, never heard of that. Primal, I have heard of it. Actually planning to watch Primal. I want to see if it's good or not. So maybe I'll put it up here on this list soon. But yeah, let's talk about the one show I do want to talk about. Let's get all this nitty gritty, fancy smashy stuff out of the way. Let's talk about Troll Hunters, shall we? I love Troll Hunters. I love it so much. I'm actually upset Wizards isn't on this list. Now, credit what credit's due. They did say that this is a 2010s list, meaning everything from 2010 to 2019. Wizards was supposed to come out in 2019, but production issues caused it to be delayed to 2020. So I get why it's not on this list, but damn, I wish it was on this list. But yeah, anyway, we have Troll Hunters. The world building is immaculate. I love the characters. I love the nuance of the show. Like a lot of things you expect them to do, they kind of do it, but there's a certain twist or certain way of clever writing to go about it. It's so good. The clever writing in this show is so good. Season 3 is amazing. The entirety of season 3 is just a blast. I can remember the title of almost every episode in that third season, and I can remember like what happens in each episode. It's so good. The deaths are earned. There's consequences to the characters' actions. Parental guidance is such an amazing episode. Like that is how you do not a lie reveal episode, but like just a basic reveal episode, a secret identity episode. That is how you do a reveal secret identity episode well. It's how you do it perfectly. It's so good. I love Troll Hunters Tales of Arcadia. It is such a good show. Season two's ending was also like a very clever way of ending the season. I don't know what else I could say about it. I love the King Arthur ties it has here, and then I love it more when Wizards actually does dive into King Arthur stuff. It's like they set it up here and then they pay it off there, which is why I consider Wizards to be the true sequel or successor to Troll Hunters, because Three Below wasn't doing it for me, man. But I love Troll Hunters so much with all my heart. This is a bomb show right here. I love it. If you have not seen Troll Hunters, give it a watch. You don't even need to like watch the sequel series that come afterward or even the movie. The movie is definitely a mixed bag. The movie is definitely a whole other topic to talk about. But like the Troll Hunter show itself, you can watch season 1 to 3 and be satisfied stuff. So I really love it. The nuance here, the writing of the characters, the arcs they go on, the clever ways they go about things, it's all so good. Apparently, Guillermo del Toro like made the show and he like wrote the book the show is based on. And apparently, in the book, the trolls have even grosser designs. I can only imagine Guillermo del Toro actually wanted to design the trolls in the show based off the book. But then Dreamworks and the network said, this is too creepy, too scary. You're gonna turn away so many kids. So then they had to go for a bit more basic designs. Don't get me wrong, I like the designs of the trolls in this show. I think they're very unique and distinct in their own way. Like you can tell they come from Tales of Arcadia. But I kind of want to know what the universe, what it would look like. How should I say? I kind of want to know what world we would be in if they actually allowed Guillermo's original troll designs to be in the show. Would the fight scenes look as good as they are? Would the trolls be as, I want to say, visually actually be a full-on horror thing? Because I know Guillermo del Toro specializes in horror. So like I want to know like whether or not the show would be better or not with the book designs. I probably wouldn't enjoy it as much because I'm not very big on horror, but yeah, no, I really like Troll Hunters. I really do like it. I like the mythos. I like everything that's going to it. One thing that's weird though is that apparently it's not even fully based on the book. For one, we only have like one book based on this series that inspired the series, which is crazy. But Dreamworks is known for taking series that they've made, sorry, for taking books and then making entire series out of those books, but not being loyal to the books whatsoever. Dreamworks is very bad when it comes to book adaptations. Aside from Captain Underpants, for the most part, the Captain Underpants movie did the book adaptation well. The series not at all. So Dreamworks is very bad when it comes to adapting books. They did it with How to Train Your Dragon. They did it with, I said, what do you call it? Troll Hunters. They did it with the Captain Underpants series. So I was, I wouldn't say I was very surprised that DreamWorks changed a lot of their. How should I say? I wasn't really surprised that DreamWorks changed a lot of the book, but apparently the story of the show is so very loosely tied to the book. Like when I say it's a loose adaptation of the book, I mean it's a loose adaptation of the book. I can't even say like DreamWorks adapted the book. It's very much. It's not even like adapted from the book or based on the book by Guillermo del Toro. It's more inspired by the book of Guillermo del Toro. I haven't read the book. This is just from what I've heard. Apparently, like the book to show difference is very large. Like Jim in the book, he lives with his dad, not his mom. His mom died or divorced or whatever. He's only with his dad in the book. And apparently, the armor doesn't give him powers. I mean, the army that doesn't give him powers give him the armor, which is like a whole other thing. But DreamWorks is famously known for not adapting books loyally. They're very much known for taking the concept of the book and then making something entirely new out of it, whether it be a series or a movie. DreamWorks is very bad when it comes to adapting books. The only book I feel they adapted very well was the Captain Underpants movie, and that was just because they crammed 4 books into one with that movie. But the series, I watched the Captain Underpants series, very different from the books. Like almost nothing in the series relates to the books at all, aside from like the general vibe of the characters. But yeah, I love Troll Hunters so much. It's such a good series. I would put it even above Earth's Mighty Heroes, maybe just because I watched Troll Hunters a lot more recently, and I like Wizards because Wizards to me feels like Troll Hunters season 4, if anything. So maybe it's attached to that. But but yeah, I really like Show Hunters a lot. So yeah, this is my general list of the 2010 shows I watched and grew up with. This is again not every single cartoon I've watched, and of course, this list doesn't have every single cartoon in existence. This is just all the major cartoons that came out in the 2010s and the ones I grew up with. Of course, there's cartoons I watched in the 2000s, and I could do a list about that. You guys let me know if you want to see a part two video where I now rank the 2000s cartoons with some of the late 90s stuff. I'll do it. I can do late 90s cartoons, early 2000s cartoon stuff. I think they're pretty fun. But this is just the 2010s cartoons I grew up with. So 2010 to 2019, this was made for my generation, I would say. As you can see, lots of shows I haven't watched. I am a fraud. I am not a cartoon fan. Shame on me. But in terms of the ones I've watched, we'll start from the bottom. Yeah, these ones absolute garbage, just garbage. Alvin and the Chipmunks, Star Wars Resistance, Spiderman 2017. I never want to see these shows again. The average shows, Planet Sheen and Avengers Assemble. I think they were fine for what they were. Nostalgia, the Nostalgia, Garage Band, Dawn of the Croods, Tough Puppy, Omniverse, Teen Titans Go, and Ultimate Spider-Man. The good shows, the actual, quality shows, Rick and Morty, Legends of Awesomeness, Dragon Rise. I think I'm gonna count Race to the Edge here. Mostly because they haven't added Race to the Edge, but they've added Puss in Boots. So I'll probably, if we're counting Race to the Edge, I'll put it in Goated. I think it's fine enough there. Lion Guard, Sonic Boom, Monsters vs. Aliens, Benton Ultimate, and Rise of TMNT. Then the goated shows, Dragon's Rise of Berk slash Race to the Edge, because they don't have the Race to the Edge option here. The Hollow, Legend of Korra, Mr. Incorporated, and then the Test of Time, best cartoons ever made. Regular show, Star Wars Rebels, Rise of TMNT, and Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Troll Hunters, and Ninjago. Ninjago is the king of them, right? So yeah. Anyways, that's gonna do it for today, guys. As said, higher quality videos from me coming soon. Hopefully, I can make good video essays and movie reviews once again. The Ahsoka show is definitely gonna be one of those. I am planning on something big for the Ahsoka show, so hopefully you guys like it, and hopefully the video is good, and hopefully the show is good as well. Only halfway through. I hope the last 3 episodes are amazing as well. I'm really enjoying it so far. But then again, I was also enjoying the Kenobi show for a while, and well, not the worst thing in the world. It is kind of sad to look back and see like how far from. So yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like if you like, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the notification bell to be part of the team. I am the Captain Phoenix. I am half naked, and yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. With that, I will see you in the universe. Goodbye, my Rangers.